Hey there, how are you?
Hello.
We have Chris and Ed here.
Hi.
We're here to drink wine with you virtually, as we do every single week, because we love drinking.
It's the highlight of every day
Seems
when
to
you
be.
finally get to have a drink.
Yeah. And bear with me as I am recovering from a bit of a sinus infection slash cold
It
thingy.
actually sounds better if you can believe that.
Yeah, much better, actually. I don't
It's-
feel bad, I just sound terrible.
But your voice is still very hoarse, and it's an improvement. That tells you how hard you struggled. You couldn't even.
Oh, I couldn't put words
Saturday
together.
nights and Sunday it was rough.
Yeah, Saturday night, the staff was saying I sounded like a 90-year-old 2-pack a day smoker.
Yeah, you did.
But, I survived. Sunday, I spent most of the day in bed, and Lisa got me some really, really hot wings, kind of helped free up the
pull
sinuses.
everything out. Yeah, smart.
Yeah. So I'm on the mend. And then
They can't keep you down.
that's right. We had that huge day. We had the big party in the barrel room.
Yeah.
We just had a huge weekend. So I was a little run down on top of it. So
A day of rest was probably in order,
Mhm.
sinuses or not.
yeah, right, yeah. And you made it to the river house. So.
Yeah, and I actually went up after work Saturday. I went dug down deep and drove up late.
That can be kind of a tricky drive.
Yeah, and the new truck, I can listen to baseball through the speakers
yeah.
on the phone. So, listen to the Rockies game driving out there. It kept me awake.
Right.
It was great. Yeah, Sunday was real chill for us too. We went for a little bike ride and we got rained out a couple of miles in and had to turn around, but it was great. We ate some Mexican and had a fire and took a nap.
Yeah, naps are great. Yeah, I took like 3 naps Sunday. I mean, I literally was in bed most of the day.
Yeah, that was good for you. That's good for you.
And then Monday, our other day of rest, my lovely girlfriend bought me a Jeep.
Life's good, brother.
So, yeah.
Life is good.
So we got a convertible truck, and it's fun, and we're going to put a lot of miles on it.
It's
We're going to have a lot of
beautiful.
fun. We're going to take the doors off and
Kayaking, tubing, biking, fishing,
it'll definitely
adventuring.
venturing, yes.
It's going to be a game changer.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
There'll be dogs too.
And dogs like trucks, so they'll be happy. And we'll all be getting some sunshine and fresh air, and hopefully I won't be sounding like this for quite some time.
You'll be tired from adventuring.
That's right.
It'll be great.
That's good sleep, though. You get out there and do stuff.
There's nothing like it in the
Like
world.
when we were trout fishing a couple
Yeah.
weeks back.
Oh, great
Slept
sleep
great.
after that. The sunshine, the fresh air, the traversing the rocks and just working your body and the
current,
adrenaline.
The current of that river
it
was
keeps
strong.
You,
Yeah.
well, it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
You can't let up or you're swimming.
Yeah. And you're gonna miss your fish.
Not where you want to be swimming.
But yeah, so we're doing some things. Another busy week ahead. This is our last little fun clip before we really just start grinding through the week, right?
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
Our Wednesday night.
we've got a couple of shifts under our belt this week already. A lot of planning going on. We've got the skeleton menu for the chef's table this weekend, and we've got the skeleton for the new dinner menu. We change our dinner menu every week. Getting our tasting put together, and and today's kind of the day it all really starts to metabolize, and it's on for the rest of the week. Yeah,
we've got some great wines for this Thursday. We're gonna have some really cool champagne style.
Nice.
We're gonna have some Austrian white, and then we're also gonna have these 2 beautiful wines that you have in your pickup packet. Or if not, you're just watching for fun. You can probably. Well, you can always swing by the winery and get these for me, or you can track them down yourself and enjoy it. This is from Valle Realle. They've been making wine in the central eastern part of Italy for, 21 years now. So they are, I guess, not a newcomer by any, facet of the imagination, but they are in terms of Italian winemaking, they're just babies, because they've been doing it for thousands of years. But 20 years doesn't sound like much. But they are doing excellent things here. Montepulciano di Abruzzo is a region. The grape is Montepulciano, and it is one of the most famous grapes from Italy.
I have to say though, this is the one grape where you need a little more Montepulciano.
Yeah, you gotta get a little. Come on, forget
this is
about
the one
it.
Italian grape because you don't do that with any other.
You don't do it with Chianti.
But,
you don't do it with
Montepulciano.
Yeah,
I mean, it lends itself to a
Yeah.
little shenanigan there.
Shenanigans. That's a great way to put it. But this is an extremely popular grape in Italy, and most people have had it at some point in our country as well. It's a very plum-like. It really gives you a lot of plum notes, but it's it's just like a great everyday variety. And then you see some producers like this that kind of step it up just a little bit. This is more complex. We're sipping on a 2015, so we're 6 years in, and I do recommend decanting at this point. Whenever you get to about the 5-year mark, I like to decant. We did that earlier and corked it and brought it back over to Chris's house so that we could do this film here. But this is a very big wine, particularly because these wines a lot of times are somewhat simple. And so you might be expecting a more simple wine here, but this is not.
No, the complexity is right on the first sip and continues on through the duration of your tasting here. I mean, this is
tons of fruit and spice,
but big too. You when you have that much fruit, it tends to be a little softer. But I mean, it's got a great tannin structure on it.
Absolutely, it's just the right amount of tannins. It leaves you wanting to. Your tongue's just dry enough to where you need another sip, and then you need another sip, and then you need another sip. It really is a beautiful balance of acidity, because it is mouthwatering. Those nice tannins, and there's spice and fruit in there that all really complement one another. They're not just standing out. There really is homogeneous.
It is, and you can taste the clove. A little bit of vanilla, not a lot, but I mean, it's got a great spice.
There's certainly some earthy components. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So this would be a great wine for all kinds of food, particularly, Italian food. I don't think you could go wrong with serving just about any dish Italian style with this.
You could do pasta, you could do a variety of meats. We've got an interesting combination with this one, Chef, though. We've got, I took pork butts, and I made a really cool spice rub. I used ancho chili powder.
Now, I saw him putting this together yesterday, and I was eyeballing it.
And I've got whole bean coffee from our friends at Bardland Farm. So Ernie has been doing all these different roasts. He's roasting coffees, and he's getting ready to start doing it, like legit selling it. But he's been bringing us lots of cool blends.
We have little Tupperware with coffee beans, all these different kinds varieties all through the kitchen that Chris has been playing with.
And this, I took some of the Guatemalan, ground it, mixed that with the ancho, a little bit of brown sugar. We've got some sea salt. We got coriander, and then the braising liquid. I rubbed that all over the butts. Then I did garlic cloves, fresh oranges, red wine vinegar, a little bit of Riesling.
I saw that Riesling going in there.
Let's see. I put it in
That's
for
such great acidity.
16 hours, and it's just falling apart. And it's strange. Normally with pork, when long braising like that, you lose a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's right up front. You taste the orange, you taste the ancho, you taste the coriander, you get the acid from the vinegar and the Riesling. I mean, it's really spectacular. I think it's going to be a great fit with this.
Wow, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely would love to have this wine with that pork right now, Chef.
And a little cheese and a tortilla, make a taco with this.
Oh, yeah.
For that, it'd be terrific.
Beautiful. Well,
I mean, we're just going to eat it out of our box. And then there may be a few treats in there for you. You never know. Because we're not afraid to do a treat.
I love the texture of this. It's very supple. It's rounded. It just sits up on your
It
tongue.
sits up, and you think your first sip when you first open it's chewy.
Mhm.
You know, it's
It's
so big.
It's an intense first sip. I'm
It
going to
is.
go ahead and tell you that.
But it just, thank goodness you're talking about decanting, getting the air into it, letting it settle. I mean, it's just settling into a beautiful wine.
Yeah, this is a wine that you could comfortably, it's interesting that we're talking about decanting in Montepulciano because it's really not, like, it's usually just a table wine. You just open
you
it
wouldn't think about that.
and you get on it and you enjoy it. This is a thought-provoking wine. It makes you stop and go,
Well, and I think a lot of people are going to miss it. If they don't decant it and let it get a little breath and treat it like you've done, then you really see that you've got something special here, not just Tuesday night's wine.
Right.
And now
But
it's like showing out.
Yeah, and it's priced as a Tuesday night wine at $19, which is ridiculous.
That's for them.
But I got to tell you, right there
crazy.
at that last bit, I just got this beautiful little bit of cranberry right at the end of the finish, like a tart cranberry. Like when
get it.
that
I get it. I totally
around get it. Was it? I can't remember if you did it at Christmas or I think it was Thanksgiving. You made a relish, a cranberry relish
With the
and it
orange
had that,
marmalade.
with the orange, and it had this
Yeah.
that little hint of
Yeah.
bitter right at the end.
And we
it's
did
like that little.
balsamic vinegar in that too, and it was.
That's
just
what it reminded me of
popping.
right there.
That's
Just like
perfect. That's an
it's-
absolute perfect.
It's funny how
observation.
wine can bring back so much memories, and it can be related to food. It can be related
liquid
to
nostalgia.
Yeah. It really,
Liquid
yeah.
nostalgia.
It really does carry you places.
And sometimes it's not food. Sometimes it's a memory.
Sure.
Like, it's like, hey, remember when we were doing such and such and we were drinking this, and it evokes that. Sometimes it brings a meal.
Sure.
It's just wine is the perfect
This is
thing.
And it's also a really pretty presentation.
Yeah.
This had a wax cover over it. I cut
Nice,
it off obviously,
high-end.
but it is beautiful punt. Yeah, I kind of bust on Italian bottles a lot of times because they usually
But they
don't
get a good look
they
at
don't
them.
put a lot of money typically into their bottles. And
What a
this
beautiful
is
presentation.
actually a really nice bottle, nice label, and wax top. I think it would be something
Look great in
very.
your cabinet. Look great on your table.
It doesn't look like a Tuesday night wine.
No,
it
does
really
not.
doesn't.
I mean,
And
they're doing it all right.
kudos to them. So let's move
The
on.
youngsters showing us how
Yeah,
it's done.
yeah, right. I've been doing it for 20 years. All right, so that was
Thank
a
you.
winner,
Chicken dinner.
big time
pork
winner.
dinner.
I was really excited to try that. Actually, I wasn't planning on having it on a tasting just yet, but it was kind of something I just kind of pushed to the front. As
glad
many
you
of,
did.
as many of you
Thank
know,
you.
I'm tasting dozens of wines every week and making notes and purchasing wines for whether it's needed at the chef's table or for future tastings. And so
You
I
gotta
never
stay ahead. You
Yeah.
can't hey, what am I doing this week?
No,
You're
there's
normally,
none of that.
You're weeks ahead. I mean, you're like, hey, you're
I
tasting.
tried that once, and I was like, that was the hardest Thursday of my
Yeah,
life.
you gotta stay ahead.
That's not. I'm usually a couple weeks out, sometimes 3 weeks out on
Usually
our.
three. When you're on your game, you're 3 weeks
Yeah,
out.
if everything's
Well,
running right.
if the tastings have been going,
Yeah.
not this tasting, but if the tastings you're doing privately
Right.
are going well, you're able to. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really dictates if you like it or not.
Exactly, and what the distributors bring in the door,
Yeah.
because sometimes they bring in nothing that I would really
Yeah.
want to show you guys.
So you're 2 weeks out.
But with that being said, sometimes, I think, oh, well, I'll show these next week. And then I taste something the very next day. I was like, well, those guys are going to have to wait another week because this one needs to be pushed to the front. And I think that Montepulciano was just a great case for that.
That was the perfect.
It was due. It's
Confluence.
Yes.
Why did I forget that word? I use it all the time.
Yeah, you do use that.
And I just forgot it.
This, however, is another one of Chris's favorite places, Spain. This is in the
Wait a minute.
Castilla region, which is very large. It covers a lot of different areas that you may know. This is from Volver. They got that really cool emblem for their winery. I love that. And then this is really a fancy label. I don't know what it is about labels today. I don't usually talk about them. but super cute.
Butterflies and
yeah.
clouds and
Yeah.
grape leaves.
Yeah, but it all is in just a two-tone label, but you can see it's metallic. It
Black
really
and
pops. It really is a beautiful presentation. And again, here we're looking at a wine that's going to be under $20 and bringing a lot of value visually. And then, of course, what really matters is what's in the glass. So this is from Volver. They do. We've had several of their wines through the years at our tasting and at the chef's table, and actually Chris and I have bought a lot of their wines to take home. A lot of their entry level stuff is so affordable that we buy it by the case instead of the bottle. This happens to be 100% Tempranillo, probably the most famous red grape of Spain. It is certainly the grape of Spain. When I think of Spanish wines, I think Tempranillo is probably the king or the queen, depending on who Yes, in England, the queen is the top dog.
And the Garnacha's the knight.
Right. Yeah. So this is paso a paso, which means step by step, and it's really what they say. Why they chose the name for this particular Tempranillo, this particular release, is because how meticulous they were to make this step by step from the vineyards all the way through how they picked the grapes, how the grapes lived their life, obviously, before they were picked, meaning they are completely certified organic. Now, a lot of people say they use organic practices, which is admirable and great. But to actually be certified is very difficult. It takes 7 years before you can even be certified, and that means constant management and overseeing by the powers that be, so that you can earn the right to say organic. Now, not every place can do organic. It really helps that they're in a very arid area, so lower amounts of mold, obviously humidity.
You don't need the things that are available.
Right.
Because
there's not as many chemicals needed.
Because it naturally fights it.
Right.
And you'd be surprised actually how many wineries, vineyards, and farmers are completely organic, and they don't want to go through the hoops the government puts on you to become certified organic, even though their practices are identical to the people who are certified. They don't have the manpower. I mean, a lot of these family farms too. I mean, just the paperwork alone, beyond the inspections, the constant. I mean, you would need a full-time office person and a liaison to keep it going. And most farms and wineries just simply don't have that extra people to do it, even though their practices are identical.
Absolutely, Chef. That is exactly it. And well, this is Volver is a larger winery, so they probably have the resources. And boy,
it's like grass-fed beef.
Yeah, and
same thing. A lot of people are 100% grass-fed, but they can't get the certification because there may be it's wild when you talk to farmers about what the parameters are.
Yeah.
So very simple. I didn't mean to get excited.
No, it's good. I mean, we like talking about food and wine, so let's do it.
Yeah.
Besides, there's a little cow right there.
Moo.
So all of that's great, and we appreciate that they're not spraying chemicals that end up in our wine. We appreciate that, but it does not account for a hill of beans, in my opinion, if this organic red wine in my glass tastes crummy.
That's a great point.
So ultimately, Chris and I are making decisions on our wine buying and delivering to you guys with whether it be a wine pairing or selling you a glass or a bottle. It's about the flavor and what it goes with. And yes, we are going to be more likely to use someone, if all things are equal in the flavor department, if they're organic.
If they're organic, because you want to honor that commitment.
Yes, absolutely. And we do that certainly more so on the food side.
Yes.
With your products, it's far more prevalent. But with that being said, our point is this is delicious in the glass, so you don't have to worry that it's going to be. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say they don't like organic wines because they don't taste good, and that may be the case for the ones that they've had. I understand.
There's a lot
that.
of them too.
But there's also a lot of really crummy wines that aren't organic. So you can't just do a blanket statement.
That's like saying, well, only there are no bad wines that aren't organic. I mean, that's the craziest thing ever. And the beauty of it is they are getting better. And I think what you see too, you see a lot of people getting into the wine game only to be organic.
Yeah.
They're not really in it to make good wines.
Right.
They're in it to put out an organic product.
Sure.
For a certain demographic of wine drinkers.
Because there is a market for that.
There's a huge market for it, and so they're not really going into it from a qualitative point of view. They're going into it as a niche, and which is totally admirable. And especially on the big picture, when people spray, and I'm not anti-spraying. Because if you have
to do what
if you have blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks of vineyards and you're being overrun with rot and insects, I mean we're not in this.
Yeah.
You're not in this to feed the parasites. I mean they can live in the forest.
They'll be fine.
They'll be fine. They just move out there into the
move on. Nothing to see here.
And they're going to be fine. But you also have. I mean, it's beyond it ending up in your glass. I mean, a lot of runoff ends up in our rivers, and it ends up in our fish, and it ends up in all these things. So you have to be a good steward of your land, and I think most people are. I mean, I don't think on the level we operate, because we don't deal with a lot of big box stores items, whether it be food or wine. I mean, most everything, regardless of their status, are they're stewards of their land. I mean, they care about their hand. A lot of these people are third, fourth, fifth generation. They're not going to do anything reckless to hurt their heritage or their land. I mean,
their neighbors.
Or their neighbors. They're wonderful stewards. I think there's an undue pressure on people who've always done it right to be where's your stickers?
Yeah.
So it's both, and but also you want to admire the people who've earned the stickers because they've done the extra money, they've put in the extra work. I mean, they've want to be certified stewards of their land, but it doesn't mean everybody else isn't. Especially at this level.
I think one of the big things that we're seeing out in California is they're focusing more not on whether or not you're organic, but how you manage your water runoff. And what you were alluding to just a moment ago is those chemicals in the right place are going to be fine.
It's fine.
Where are they rolling to afterwards?
Right.
And I think that's one of the big...
Are you crop dusting or are you hand spraying?
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing we're talking about.
Right, and I think that there's... I think people... wise people are starting to understand that it's not just is the chemical used, but how is it being used, and how is it being controlled use? I mean, is it just washing down onto your neighbor's property, or is there a containment factor?
Is it just lightly soaking in to protect you? And it's like, I think even the word chemical has such a negative connotation. But nobody feels negative about taking ibuprofen.
That's true.
Which is a chemical.
Daily.
Dozen a day.
Actually, twice today. We stayed out a little too late last night.
Yeah, and so like there's chemicals everywhere. I mean, people are putting, whether it's a sweetener or this or that. Everybody looks at chemical, but when you say, I'm going to use chemicals on my vine,
I agree.
You're polluting the world, but everybody's littering their own personal bodies with chemicals that are everywhere. Their medicine cabinet, in their baking section, in their packaging, everywhere you look, there's nothing but chemicals. No one cares anything about those.
Yeah.
But God forbid you want to prevent the beetles from ruining a million dollar crop that feeds and provides. Oh well, you're destroying the planet. Well, no, actually, I'm not.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm protecting a valuable crop that's a benefit to society done properly, it harms no one and benefits all, just like all the chemicals you're using in your hypocritical stance.
And that again circles right back around to it's what's in the glass. Ultimately, is it delicious? In this case, yes.
That's a big, giant affirmative.
I'm already on my second taste, Chef.
Yeah,
I'm sorry I
catching
couldn't
up.
wait.
And I don't blame.
But
I don't. If I weren't running my mouth, I would have already been on my second taste. But I've been up on my soapbox.
this is slick, smooth, fruity,
slick. Great word.
Just I mean, it's
great word.
It is.
It is slick.
It almost has like elements of an aged wine, but it's a 19, so it's only 2 years old. But it almost approaches like it almost if I was blind tasting at about 3 a.m. where I wasn't really using my trained som skills, if I was just going by kind of the taste and smell, I would say that this was an aged wine.
It lingers like an aged wine.
Mm-hmm.
Because it stays on the back of your palate, not the front.
Right.
And to me, a good quality aged wine, you know, a young wine, you get that big flavor on the front, then it dies on the back. And this just lingers. It's delicious.
Yeah, it's got that kind of fruit punch kind of thing, like because you can't really identify.
Well, I guess
you can't say this is a strawberry in here or this is a plum. It's more like a medley of fruit that you can't really pull out what they are, but you know there's some red fruit, you know there's some dark fruit.
It's a mixed cobbler.
Yeah, and it's really, really nice. You can taste the Spanish sun on this. You can tell these were just drenched, roasted.
Ripe and roasted.
They had a very happy life.
They lived the life a grape should live.
And they produce quite a bit of alcohol. This is listed at 14.5, but you know, I've got to tell you, the alcohol for 14.5 is not super apparent here. But I still think that it might be higher than 14.5.
But it doesn't. You're right.
I'm not
it doesn't
saying
drink
that
hot.
because it's like Chef said, it doesn't drink hot. But I'm getting
You're getting a
warmth down here.
You're getting that the fuzzies already.
Alcohol. My mentor Dan told me how to taste for alcohol, and how far you could feel it burn going down dictated usually. It's a pretty good indicator of how much alcohol is in it. But I'm getting it way down here where normally, I might feel it.
It would stop
here. Yeah. So, to me, this is probably. I might even drop by the winemaker's office laboratory tomorrow morning, get them to test this. I'd be curious to see how my gauge is, if I do need to recalculate. Of course, it could be acidity that gives you a similar sensation. Tyler and I were tasting some wines, some blends he was making right before I came over, and it was very interesting because he was doing a Riesling blend, and Riesling's known for high acidity. And I didn't question it being alcohol. It almost felt it was more pH burn. It's like, this has got great acidity. I can feel it going down. He goes, you know what? I wasn't sure if it was alcohol or acidity, and I actually tested it for alcohol just to make sure. And he was like, yeah, it was only 12.5%. So that was the acidity. And I could tell a difference in the way it went down.
Burn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I guess if you drink enough wine and really listen to your body, maybe you can use your little gauge of alcohol and acidity internally and kind of get an idea.
See, again, the endless list of benefits from drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just have we been compiling all those benefits. I mean, we would need a scroll that would roll around the neighborhood.
The number one benefit, though, is it gets people together and puts a damn smile on their face.
And keeps them together.
Keeps them together, yeah.
You're bonded through wine.
Many a relationship has been saved by a bottle of wine, no doubt.
No diggity doubt.
Well, Chef, I hate to say this, but we're getting down to the nitty gritty of time.
We are hitting our little limit there.
We haven't talked about food.
Well, we're going back to the well on this. So this is not throwing...
Me too.
Not throwing anything crazy at you, but we are going back to our Utah cheddar this week.
Gosh, it's so good.
People
were just raving about it last Thursday.
So good. We're doing the Sea Hive, which is aged with sea salt and wildflower honey. And we're going to serve that with some of our cured duck.
What?
Spiced cured duck and the Sea Hive aged Utah cheddar.
Y'all are spoiled.
Spoiled rotten. So, God,
Yeah.
if I
Enjoy.
weren't running out of the restaurant, I was like, I gotta grab
Oh
one.
yeah, today was a.
But I
one of
really
those
wanted to
hectic
bring
days.
some home so we could taste while we were drinking today. But I just didn't have my act together.
We'll do it next
We'll do
time.
next week for sure.
Well, kids, you have two beautiful wines.
Beautiful wines, amazing job.
You know, you have
Two great value wines that drink
Absolutely.
twice,
Sub 20.
twice their price point.
Yep, and we want to thank these fine producers for making these delicious wines, so we can drink them and talk about them with you guys.
And thank you for the brave people that transport them on trucks and boats and
transportation.
traverse the oceans and
That's right.
and the highways and the
Gosh.
ports and
And
hubs,
the authorities.
and the hubs and the authorities
Yeah.
to get it to us. I mean, here we are sitting in
Mayberry.
a backyard in a little neighborhood in Mayberry, drinking wines from Italy and Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And
Life is good, Chef.
I mean, I'm telling you, life could not be better.
Yeah,
And,
we are blessed, and thank everybody for your support. We can't thank you enough. Thursday nights are so much fun, and we're glad that we can bring them to you virtually. But if you happen to be in Mayberry, downtown Mount Airy on Thursday at 6:00,
Great
we're
place to
tasting
come
4
see us.
wines every night.
4 foods,
Yep.
4 wines. You get his pretty face.
Mhm.
You get my pretty food. It's the best combination.
Yep, and thanks for watching, and share it with a friend. Like, share. What's the
Like,
other
share, and
thing?
subscribe.
Subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe.
One day we'll be famous.
And we'll keep doing them. And we'll all talk about the good old days of our origins.
That's right. Y'all take care.
Take care.